Hey everyone, thank you so much for stopping by, Brian for Liberty. I do appreciate it. Today we're going to be talking about stimulus round whatever the hell we're on, and Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, and how the Republicans have absolutely given up any opportunity to claim any sort of fiscal conservatism moving forward. Now, I know that the Democrats gave them great cover by dropping a $3 trillion stimulus bill, and Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are just trying to give everything but the kitchen sink buying votes as quickly as possible. And that gives a little bit of cover to the Republicans. So when Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell go back at Nancy Pelosi and say, hey, you're being fiscally irresponsible, look, our bill's only $1 trillion. I'm just saying that $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there. This is real money, folks, and we are really getting into a position here where the numbers are just astronomical. The debt that we're racking up is insane in response to COVID, the coronavirus response. And when we talk about these things not mattering, we could print our own money, we're going to help this economic recovery. We're just selling out the future. And we have to recognize that. We also have to recognize that the interest on our debt and our military spending is already consuming over half of the personal income taxes collected by the federal government. And all we're going to be doing moving forward is increasing the burden of debt on future generations. And Donald Trump and the Republicans have no problem increasing military spending at this time. There's no place where we are shrinking the budget to pay for this. I've said it before, and I said it again, Donald Trump and the Republicans did not raise a fuss when the budget was signed before coronavirus and added $1 trillion to our debt, and they're going to continue to do it. So the idea that the Republicans can hold any sort of fiscal, conservative, moral high ground over the Democrats is an absolutely false statement. But we have to talk about the stimulus bill in and of itself. And Americans need to take a deep breath and recognize what does and does not make sense. I think that there's a desire when you have tens of millions of people unemployed, you have an economy in relative standstill, there's a desire to look at the government and say the government should do something. But there's some of the things that they're doing here that absolutely make zero sense whatsoever. When the Republicans and Trump and all these people are pushing for these stimulus checks, I'm curious as to the purpose. When you read into this bill, it says that a married couple making $150,000 a year will receive about a $2,400 stimulus from the federal government. This isn't tied to unemployment. So my question is why does a married couple making $150,000 need a $2,400 stimulus check, particularly in an economy that we are being told we need to not engage in? We need to not be going out. We need to, limit our gatherings. We're being told to wear masks in public and all those things. But the question is why does somebody making that kind of money who hasn't lost their job need this massive amount of stimulus? I don't understand what the purpose of that is, particularly, like I said, in an economy that we're not trying to stimulate. Why can't we simply tie, if you're going to send out a stimulus payment to begin with, which I think is a foolish idea, but if you're going to send out a stimulus check to people, why can't you tie that directly to unemployment? Why can't you say, if you are receiving unemployment benefits, then you get this additional stimulus? And of course, that brings me to my second point on this is the enhanced unemployment benefits. Now, I know the $600 is getting ready to expire, and the Republicans came out and said, we're going to reduce that to $200. I think most of you, the Democrats, the Republicans, they're going to come to some kind of agreement that says, we're going to be at $350 or $400. There's going to be some form of enhanced unemployment, and it's going to be higher than what the Republicans are proposing. It's going to be lower than what the Democrats wanted, but there's definitely going to be some kind of enhanced unemployment benefit. The question is why? Once again, the economy is functioning at a much lower level. You have many people choosing actively to stay home for their own safety due to coronavirus. And even the restaurants that are open at smaller levels of capacity. Again, we're being encouraged not to go out and engage in the economy as often. We're trying to restrict some activity. California may be going back on lockdown. So what is the necessity to pay people more unemployment now in this economy than a year ago when the economy was firing on all cylinders? A person who lost their job a year ago is facing increasing pricing because of our strong economic performance, as opposed to, we should be seeing discounts. We should be seeing some falling prices because we have a contracting economy. So why are we paying people more in unemployment benefits today than we would have been paying them a year ago? That doesn't seem to make any sense. And like I said, even the reopening that we are doing has its limits in terms of what we're asking people to do and what we're asking them not to do. So when I look at this stimulus package, I'm very concerned that there isn't a party anymore that represents anything resembling fiscal conservatism. There is no party that's looking at the long-term economic impacts of these decisions. And I don't know where we're heading. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I really believe that we're heading towards a genuine currency crisis. I think that we're heading towards a powerful inflationary environment, and we aren't seeing anyone defend the long-term security of our economy. And that's very scary. And I don't know what the answer from Donald Trump supporters or Republicans would be, but I'd be very happy to hear about that in the comments. And if you know a Donald Trump supporter who you think has a good answer to this, share this content with him so that he can set me straight in the comments and tell me why I'm wrong. Speaking of Donald Trump and the Republicans, I also am taking a bit of an issue with Donald Trump's decision regarding the importing of drugs from Canada. And as a libertarian, I want absolute free trade. I really do. But we have some issues on the inside of our economy that we have to fix before we move to this prescription drug importing from Canada. We're importing price controls is what we're doing. And that is going to de-incentivize pharmaceutical companies in the United States from making the massive investments it takes to develop new drugs. 2/3 of all new drug treatments come from the United States of America because we have no price controls on our pharmaceuticals. Now, our healthcare industry is a mess because of the massive intervention of insurance companies in our day-to-day healthcare. We don't know what anything costs. Our insurance is tied to employment, which is a remnant of World War II. So our healthcare system is a mess. It does need to be fixed. But just snapping our fingers and saying, okay, you can import drugs from Canada now, boy, that's going to create some serious disincentives for pharmaceutical companies to invest in long-term research and development. That's always the case with price controls. We don't have price controls here, so we're going to import them. It's going to create the same situation. Donald Trump really should be working towards creating a situation where our healthcare system here in our own country is moving towards a more free market type system. And we need to start pushing back against insurance involvement. And we need to start allowing people to shop for the health insurance a la carte so they can choose what they are and are not paying for and what is and is not covered, so we can allow real pricing to enter into the marketplace, which we don't have. But I think just opening the door to a flood of price-controlled prescription drugs from another place is going to create serious issues in our own healthcare system here. And I think there's going to be some long-term consequences from that. So those are just a couple of things that kind of caught my eye, yesterday evening, overnight, looking at the stimulus bill, looking at this import, this dropping of restrictions as far as importing drugs from Canada. I know a lot of people are going to celebrate that idea, both on the left and the right, probably, that Trump is doing this great thing by allowing us to bring drugs from Canada. But if you don't fix the economic issues facing our healthcare system here and the regulatory issues facing our healthcare system here, that is going to create some serious problem. And the other thing is we really have to start thinking about what we want our government to be doing when it comes to stimulus spending in this economy and what our long-term deficit situation or a long-term deficit outlook needs to look like as we move forward. And we need to start looking for fiscal conservatism, and we need to start looking for a political party like us libertarians who believe in minimal government involvement in the economy and minimal spending, and to get us back on track to a balanced budget. And we're not there, and nobody cares, not the Republicans or the Democrats. And that to me is a very scary thing. So those are a couple of things that popped out at me today. Like I said, I'm trying to just increase the amount of content that I'm getting out with these shorter videos, just kind of discussing quickly some of the things that I see that I think are important to address. Please like the content if you like the content, share the content if you like the content, and more importantly, subscribe and turn on those notifications so you know when I'm putting out a video. My goal is to get something out every day right around lunchtime with a longer video on the weekends to talk about broader libertarian ideas. I am reading Thomas Sowell's Basic Economics. I'm going to be going over chapter 5 this weekend. That video is going to come out either Saturday or Sunday. So again, turn on those notifications. And I thank you very much for stopping by. And as always, we will see you next time.